neither of them have been playing a ton, so it's, you know, this is such a volatile game anyway that it's it's really anybody's race.
Yeah, if you haven't been practicing, I mean, some of the high level strats are really difficult. You think they might skip some of those because they haven't been practicing, or you think they'll still go for it?
That's a good question. I know Shoka learned some relatively, because he participated in the HEDQ relay, so he probably has some race strats in mind. Endy, I don't know. I don't think he ever had a chance to learn more than one type of strat, so he probably he probably has just his race strats, and I gotta imagine that he's gonna go with that.
Okay, it looks like we are off and running, by the way, too. With here in the first stage is Flashman stage. It's kind of the most straightforward stage for sure. And yeah, we can see what happens here.
Yeah,
I like the fish predictions. I appreciate as well already in the chat. It's nice.
Oh man, a little early for that. Hopefully someone kills the fish. Hopefully Cypher started a trend there.
Yeah, that has been a big topic of conversation for the tournament. I love this little trick coming up. I appreciate this little trick on the blocky character here when you jump through them that only you can do on this the Japanese version of the game, because in the normal version they just die with one hit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a neat little piece of movement there. This is a pretty simple stage. That's probably the most complex thing to do in the stage. And then you have the fight, which is pretty difficult.
Yeah, one thing that might not be clear is the floor is not exactly just like a solid floor. It's a little slippery. So that jump that Endy just pulled off there and Shoka just did as well, it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're dealing with ice physics, you kind of want to just let go of the D-pad when you land. That way you don't slide. But they're jumping right away anyway, so... Let's see. Beautiful fight for Shoka. Yeah, very nice. Both of them managed without a flash in the fight, so they were both off to a very good start.
Nice, yeah, that's nice to see. None of us got to see the, as I like to call it, the bedazzler instead of the time stopper, but we'll see. That hasn't caught on yet. It hasn't caught on yet, so I might have to give it up, I guess.
Keep trying. Tournament's running out of juice though, so you got only a little bit of time to catch on.
Exactly. I do have to give it up. All right, next we're on to Heat Man. Yeah, Heat Man, we can start to see our first little cool bit of tech, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna see our first zip in Heat Man. They're gonna set it up with item 3 about halfway through the stage. The first really difficult thing that you can die to in this run is the item 3 throw at the end of this first screen. So we'll see if we'll see if either of them can get it. If you miss, it costs you a couple seconds. It's not a huge deal, but there is a pit right there. You just gotta be careful.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite tricks of the game, the fadeaway jumper. It's so beautiful to hit. It looks like it's simple when people, high-level runners like these guys, when they pull it off so smoothly. But yeah, it's definitely cool and not easy for sure. Shoka misses the throw, and Endy hits it. Nice.
Aha. Nails it with no. So you can see that switched their positions. Shoka was slightly ahead, and now the lead is Endy's.
And how much does that time save? It doesn't save that much time, and if you miss it, it costs more than that, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you skip it entirely, you're probably losing a second and a half. If you go for it and miss, you're probably losing like 2 seconds. It's not a huge deal. The risk reward says you probably should go for it if you're at least 50-50 on it.
Oh, okay. We are extremely synced right now, which is always nice to see. See how long this keeps up.
Yeah, you can see Shoka's taking the Yoku blocks a little bit faster. They don't. Ooh, and he had a cleaner menu there. But yeah, those Yoku blocks, unlike the other ones in the series, don't just spawn on a set rhythm. Their pace is dictated by how fast you go through that section. So if you're a little bit risky and push the pace there, you can get them to spawn incredibly fast. But then obviously you run the risk of dying if you go a little bit too fast. Mm-hmm. So yeah, both switch to flash here, so they have extra health for this little heat dance here.
It's always fun to see how many frames he decides to pose with his flames around him. 30, 60, or 90. Let's see if he's nice or not nice to these two guys.
Yeah. Pretty similar looking pattern so far. Neither's getting outrageously good luck, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's not an insane fight yet. It's going a little bit long now. Past the point of saying, oh, it's a fast Heat Man.
Yeah, I think Endy had the better pattern there. Shoka's execution was better, but Endy still managed to pick up a little bit of time on Shoka there. Or maybe not, about the same.
So now we'll get to what I think is the great kind of can send a race in a different direction very quickly. If Airman has definitely taken the most lives in this tournament, I think of any stage for sure. Would you agree with that? The most difficult stage?
I wouldn't say it's the most difficult, but it is really, really scary in a race because it's early on when you haven't quite gotten your comfortable yet. And a death on the first screen is just so punishing. It costs you close to a minute, like between 50 seconds and a minute. We'll see. Hopefully they're both able to get it. The version with the damage boost should be fairly consistent, but we've seen high level runners still fail this. So,
and especially because they haven't been practicing, so this will be good.
Yeah. So cross our fingers on this one.
So both seem to be doing the time stopper bedazzler strats here in the first part of the stage. And that seems to be pretty standard, right? I mean, I know there's another way to do it without that, but it seems to be pretty standard with all the high level guys now to use time stopper, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anybody in the tournament that skips the flash there. Oh, so Endy takes a death right at the very end of it. So that's unfortunate.
For sure. So that'll open up a pretty big lead for Shoka, but of course is definitely comebackable. But yeah.
Yeah. So you see him switching to heat and taking 2 deaths to take the game over there. He's out of flash, out of item 1, and it would be really slow to do that section again. So he's actually gonna take the game over there and try again. So not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the kind of things you got to think about if you'd want to take the game over there, because that allows you to continue the normal strats in the future when you have to take a death for some of the dips and stuff, or you can just try to fight it out and see what happens there. But looks like Endy chose to go with the death, a safer way.
Sure. Okay. Endy manages it the second time, but his health is going to be a little low. He took a bonk a little bit earlier in the stage, and then fails the bird boost there. He's actually really low on health. Meanwhile, Shoka makes quick work of Airman.
Yeah, Airman seemed like he was pretty nice that time, so he got through quickly, and the lead is now half a stage or so.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty large advantage for Shoka. That's one of the more punishing deaths you can take, certainly in the Robot Master stages. Probably the only bigger deaths are, Wily 4, or maybe a game over late in the run.
Yeah, and this happens so early too that it's though we have seen some runners in this tournament have come back from this. Just it takes consistent play, and the other person kind of not having consistent play to kind of make it up, in small bits the whole way through.
Yeah, you kind of have to hope that your opponent makes a mistake. So Endy got a health there, but it didn't help him. He's still at 8, so he can only take 1 hit from Airman here. Meanwhile, Shoka's going to try to line up a zip here. Woohoo! He goes for Task Clash. Wow.
The first screen zip is a little bit harder than the second screen zip, with what he looks like he's going to do now. And Endy does pull it off with 4 damage, 4 health left.
Wow. Yeah, Airman was pretty kind to him. Gave him a couple patterns he could dodge there.
Being a bro to the tournament here.
Yeah, so that helps Endy from stopping, or prevents him from falling further behind anyway.
Now, since he's, I'm not sure if he's stream watching or not, but when you're behind, does that mean he might do anything differently? I guess he said he only knows one kind of strat, so I guess it won't, right? He just has to play this game.
Yeah, it's being a little facetious there, but yeah, I mean, there's a couple of schools of thought there. I think if you start to press when you're behind and try to go for too many things that you're not comfortable with just to try to catch up, you're more likely to make a mistake, and I think you're probably only going to make your run get worse by doing that. So I would imagine he's just going to try to stick with what he knows and hope for Shoka to make a mistake, because he's not going to catch him by doing, frame savers here and there with the lead that Shoka has here. He's going to need Shoka to make a big mistake, and Endy just needs to stay consistent and, be in position to take advantage.
So Shoka taking on Clashman here. And it was a fast fight as well. It looks like he's doing pretty good. Not giving any leash here to catch up at all.
Yeah. Shoka had some trouble with the first screen zip. There was some things in that stage that he didn't quite do ideally, but Endy's having a little bit of a go in this stage as well. So,
what would be your recommendation for people that are in the tournament? Do you screen watch or not? Do you want to know where you are in terms of the race to help you do things more safely or not?
It depends on the person. I think some people can get really distracted if they're not just focusing on the run. And for those type of people, and you know, if you speedrun for a while, you probably know if you're that kind of person or not. You know, it might be best to just ignore that. But I think for most people, it can be really helpful strategically to know where your opponent is. You can kind of, especially if you're ahead, you can kind of dial back a little bit and not play right on the razor's edge and risk making a mistake that'll let your opponent back in it. But knowing it's close sometimes can add to the pressure. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword.
Endy with a lightning fast crash there.
Yeah, it was a really good fight. Shoka had a good setup on the first quick zip too. That's a pretty tricky zip to set up. So as far as like chances to let your opponent back in the race, Quickman is a big one here. If you overzip this last screen, which you don't see too often from top runners, but it's definitely a possibility. You actually soft lock the game and you'd have to password back to the stage. That would put Endy in the lead if it happens. We see Shoka stopping well short and just, you know, safely wiggling his way in.
Yeah, that might lead me to believe he's screen watching. But he stopped well in front of it comfortably to wiggle his way there.
Could be. I know Endy is a screen watcher. I can't say for Shoka. Ooh, Shoka misses a couple bombs, but meanwhile, Endy is struggling to set up this first zip. I think advantage. Yeah, I think advantage to Shoka on this one.
yeah.
Because Endy keeps making the same mistake here. He's trying to place that third item 1 while the other one is up at the top of the screen, and you can only have 3 item 1s on the screen at once. And he just got stuck in a loop there, where every time he would have 2 item 1s off sync with the other third one, and kept having to wait for it. And like he'd go through the rhythm and try to jump and place it, but he wouldn't be able to.
It's one of those things I guess we can expect when they have been practicing for this race, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Shoka's been playing this game since, I don't even know, probably like before 2010. So yeah. I would say that agreeing to a no practice race to someone who's been, you know, who's done speedruns of this game for almost a decade might be foolhardy.
Yeah. Shoka has been is one of the, you know, if there's a Mount Rushmore of Mega Man 2 speedrunners, he has to be on there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Shoka's pretty legendary in this game. Anybody that has been in the community a long time, you know, knows who Shoka is. Endy, quite the speedrunner himself. He's really prolific. He just has so many different games that he runs at a very high level. He learns games extremely fast.
Yeah, as evidenced by the...
Yeah, I don't think he played...
Top 15?
Yeah, I don't think he'd played Rockman 2 before the tournament was announced. I know he had put some time into Mega Man 2 normal, but he's got a extremely competitive time very quickly.
Yeah, it's just insane. Yeah, he's in top 15. Yeah, 15th place right now. It's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Shoka going for what's known as good wood, correct? If I'm correct on that.
Yeah. The good wood zip.
Just something happens, and then all of a sudden you're there. That's how I describe it.
That's a good enough description. In actuality, what's happening is you're playing the rest of the stage and suiciding in the checkpoint room to spawn at the boss quarter. But like basically the stage is just not displaying the screen that you're on, so you're traversing all those screens blind basically. You just have to know where you're at.
I guess for someone that's watching and says, okay, I want to play this too, how long does it take to learn something like that? It looks just, you know, you'd have no idea what's going on. So how long does it take someone to pick that up?
Really good dog scrolls for Endy there. I don't know. I think this is a really good, if you like Mega Man, and you've been interested in speedrunning a Mega Man game, I think this is the easiest one to get into. It's really difficult at the top level, sure, but like I think you can learn to speedrun this game fairly quickly. I don't know. I mean, I can't really put a time on it because I think that differs for each individual person. But
true, yeah.
Because like most of the game is pretty simple. There's just these crucial points here and there that are pretty difficult. But once you figure out how to deal with those, or you know, figure out a safe way past them, then it's a pretty gentle first run, I think, for a lot of people. So,
question in chat: what is different than Rockman and Mega Man? Really, Rockman is just what in the Japanese version called Mega Man. In this game, though, there's there's only one version, and that is the Western difficult version. You know, the normal version was the easier version that everything takes half as much damage, or your shots take half as much power. I'm not sure which one it is.
Yeah, shots do double damage on normal mode,
Yeah.
quote unquote normal mode, which is really easy mode. That's only available on the US version. The trade-off there is that the US version has 42 seconds of slower text. So if you are going to play on difficult, you'd rather play on the Japanese version rather than the US version.
So Shoka now with a full stage lead on Endy here. Just being pretty solid while Endy had a few hiccups here and there to extend his lead. And really it's going to take Shoka to make a big mistake. Maybe hitting the spike here in this stage could be something that's the beginning of a comeback.
Yeah, I didn't notice if either of them grabbed a 1-up in metal, or sorry, in quick.
I don't believe so, but if someone in chat could tell me I'm wrong, I would believe them as well. But I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll have to pay attention on the next menu there, because that'll make a big difference. You take 2 death warps, so Endy doesn't have an extra life. That means any death is a game over, which means, obviously being sent back to the end of the stage, regardless of checkpoints. So Shoka does have an extra life. That means that he's insulated from some of the more dangerous game overs that can happen in the Wily stages, as of right now.
Yeah, that Bubble Man zip he just did is very difficult. The jump, when you got to jump high into the corner without hitting the spikes, pretty interesting. Always fun to watch that one.
Yeah, Shoka unfortunately on Team A Trigger. We'll have to see if Endy's on the good team. See what kind of pattern Shoka. So Shoka gets the worst pattern from Bubble Man here. He can do 1, 2, or 3 bubbles. 3 is much, much slower than 1 or 2. Probably like 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds slower. And Shoka with the sub-17 robots, so very solid. He's definitely in the driver's seat in this race. Just needs to have a consistent castles and maintain this big lead he has over Endy. Endy, meanwhile, we'll see. Ah, B Trigger. All right, I have a rooting interest in this match now. I have to root for Team B Trigger.
Yeah, we don't have to see. Go ahead, dude.
I was just gonna say, Endy getting a little low on life. Normally you're pretty safe in the Bubble Man fight, but you definitely don't want to be any lower health than this. So luckily he didn't get hit there.
Yeah, for sure. Usually Bubble Man.
Get Shoka dancing on the item too. Shoka likes to have fun. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I always appreciate swag around here. And he has to. We're still a few stages away, but we have to see the dance, right? You'd think.
Well, Endy doesn't get any luck from Bubble Man there. Gets the same 3 bubble pattern. Shoka manages this first vertical zip setup here. There's another one here coming up in this screen after this one. And missing this one can cause you to fall down, which is a pretty big mistake. So we'll see if Shoka can get this one. Okay. Very good.
No problem there. Yeah. See, I've seen a few people fall there, and it does. You have to make the climb again without your items there, so it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I think that's like a 20-second mistake or so. Pretty big. And so yeah, gets both vertical zips. Really good stage for Shoka there. Now just needs to avoid touching the dragon.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where when you're playing casually, this is the scariest boss ever. But when you're playing the speedrun, you'll see it's over very quickly. Don't blink, it'll be over. Hopefully, if things go correctly.
Yeah, so Shoka just fine there.
Yep, he just took care of that, no problem. 28 shots with the boomerang, and he's down.
Yeah, pretty comfortable lead he's got there. Wily 2 is... it's not a stage you're typically going to lose a lot of time in, but the first zip can be pretty tricky. And missing that one is going to cost you a little bit of time, 15 seconds or something.
So Endy hitting the vertical zip as well. Starting to make
very nice. Shoka goes ahead and picks up the item 1 at the start of Wily 2, which that's a really good safety strat. It gives you extra item 1s in case you have have trouble setting up, like the Wily 4-zip, for instance. Doesn't cost that much time to get, so respect.
Is that one you would pick up? Is that one you would pick up? Oh,
that was interesting for Endy there. I think he only jumped once instead of twice, or however many. He jumped one too few, and so it wrapped him down to the bottom of the screen rather than up to the top. So he had to climb up again there. Sorry, do you have a question?
I was gonna say, is that one you would pick up normally if you're in this tournament? When you're in the tournament, is that one you pick up, or you only pick up when you know you're behind, or know you're ahead?
You know, it depends. Each player does differently there. I think we've seen more people pick it up than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know Cypher would pick it up, and
with the Night Dragon.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that there's a correct decision there. It's correct if you get it and you need it. Otherwise, you wasted time. You know.
Okay, that's pretty good. Mind blowing strats there. But
yeah,
Shoka with the toasters. These toasters are same pattern all the time, so they're pretty. For these guys, this is no big deal.
All right, let's see Endy try to set up this first zip here.
This one is scary. This one is very scary when you're trying it yourself.
Yeah, it's not a hard zip to set up necessarily. It's just there's no safety net at all, because if you fail it, there's no second chance to set it up, and there's spikes below you. So yeah, not a good thing.
Okay, so Shoka is entering the fish zone. So if you want to get your fish guesses in there, now's the time.
Oh man, Endy with a bunch of drops in that hallway there.
Oh yeah.
Brutal. Yeah, so Bubbles actually one-shot the Wily 2 boss. The problem is, the reason why we use Metal Blade instead of Bubble is because there's some that spawn out of reach of Bubble, and you have to wait for them to come down to you.
So Shoka picks up one fish. Important news. Another important news. Endy taking on the toasters.
Extremely important.
This stage is kind of the calm before the storm, yeah. When what Shoka's doing the fish stage. Not that much to do here, except watch out for spikes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely seen people die in Wily 3, so it's not completely free, but it's a pretty easy stage. If you died there, you probably just weren't focused or something. Yeah. How many jumps? 4 jumps for Shoka.
And that would be considered average, right? I mean, I know 2 is like God tier, and 4 is average.
Yeah, I think some of the average plus smashers in the tournament probably get 3, and then 4 is pretty standard. If you're getting less than 4, that's what is that? Less than 3 hits per jump, or maybe 3 hits per jump. So I mean, most Mega Man runners can usually get a few hits in per jump. So yeah, 4 is expected.
Endy with the 2 fish. So anyone that guessed 3 fish would be correct right now. Just go to your local betting parlor and pick up your money there.
Yeah, go claim your ticket.
Yeah, there you go. Sort of applicable.
So, Shoka with a pretty nice climb here in Wily 4. Gets the extended zip up at the top. That was good.
Purple Hell has a name for a reason. This has taken a few lives during this tournament for sure.
Yeah, this is a scary stage, because even when you have a lead like Shoka has here, and it's a pretty sizable one, you're one mistake potentially from just giving that lead entirely back.
Shoka appeasing us with the Shoka dance as well, as we could have expected, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder where the name came from.
I wonder if he even likes it anymore. He's like, oh, I just have to do it. If I don't do it, the public hates me.
Oh, man. So, first of all, Shoka needs to not overzip here. Ooh, that was a 2-tile wiggle there. Okay, so he's safely in. And gets a clean exit from the top, so Shoka's just not giving Endy any avenue back into this race. He's been very solid all throughout.
Yep, looks like it.
Beautiful.
Endy, this is kind of a longer stage. It's tough to tell, but it looks like Endy has made up a little bit of time, maybe 5 seconds, something like that. Can't tell.
Yeah.
It's a long stage.
Yeah, it's hard to say. He certainly hasn't lost a significant amount of time since some of the early mistakes, but I think he and Shoka are playing roughly even.
Mm-hmm. So Shoka moving on to the refights, which seems pretty standard. There's nothing kind of dangerous here. It's all about just optimization, right?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can die here depending on how much you're pushing it. Like we saw Cypher die here in his tournament match against Streamline a couple days ago. But because every boss drops a large health, like typically if you're ahead and you're trying to play safe, like Shoka's gonna go ahead and grab the health here. If you make that type of decision, then yeah, this should be pretty safe. But when you know it's close, sometimes you gotta really push.
The limits, yeah.
Yep. Hey, nice fight for Shoka there. So, Endy falls down here. He's going to have to try to make a corner jump here. And of course, the Mega Man 1 runner able to get the corner jump, no problem. And gets the double. Wow.
Too, with the 2 bombs left over, right?
Yeah, these runners are pros. Yeah, both of them able to escape Wily 4 with both their crash bombs intact, so they can use them on the Wily machine.
Yep, no problem there.
Shoka gets beat up a little bit by heat, but just goes ahead and grabs the health. He came into this stage with a chance at a 27. I'm not sure if he still does or not. This refight has been a little on the rough side, but certainly like high 27, low 28 type of pace from Shoka for this run. I'm going to say probably a low 28 is the pace he's on now.
Let's see, what is his PB here? His PB is 27, low 27.08, so not bad for sure for a race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably been taking it safe a few times too,
Yeah, it's just a really difficult game, and you never know what somebody's approach is going to be when your opponent takes an early death. And he's just done everything he's needed to do. Like, when your opponent dies in fast air, like, you get a low 28 and you win the race, pretty much always. So, whether he knew or not, really, really good game plan, and he executed this run really consistently. So he's still got Wily 6. Got a zip here, so needs to not over-zip again, and then needs to not hug the alien, and he'll seal game 1 if he can do so.
Let's see what he chooses to stop the zip. Pretty comfortably ahead of to make sure that doesn't happen. And it's alien time. This is another chance to see how aggressive someone is being. Is how aggressive they are with this alien fight. Let's see how aggressive Shoka decides to take it.
Yeah, to some extent, and Shoka with the win. GG Shoka. To some extent, aggressive is better. Because you have to take a D-boost to get damage in, and the less damage you do, the more D-boost you have to take. So, just getting in there and getting your face in there and doing some damage is sometimes best defense is a good offense.
So Shoka with game 1. Let's cheer on Endy here. Finish up his game as well, which I assume he's going to finish because you want to get the practice in.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, Shoka takes the no practice game 1. This is a best of 3 series, so Shoka will be up 1-0. The winner will advance to the round of 8 in this tournament. The loser will be eliminated. The winner is going to be facing Zodanor.
And yeah, that's a difficult matchup for sure. He's in the top 10 for sure in PBs in any case. So yeah.
Yeah, I think
they're all difficult matchups though.
Yeah, Zoda's the 3 seed in this tournament. He's put quite a bit of time into this game, but he's part of the slacker bracket. He's not practicing either. So
I guess once you get this deep in tournament, everyone's good. Yeah, we can be sure of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see. Let's cheer on Endy here with his alien fight. Take down this alien.
Nice, good kill.
Oh yeah, that was nice and quick.
Yeah, managed to get him before he escaped and got over to the left side. So good mashing from Endy there.
So GG's for everybody here. We are on to game 2. Hopefully, you know, Endy, because I'm sure Endy's going to be nervous about Airman again. So hopefully we can get through that, and we can have a little bit of a closer match the second game. But you never know. Mega Man has so many places you can just die, you know. So you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Shoka's consistency has been pretty good. I think since we've gotten to the elimination round, he's looked pretty solid. Or actually, I'm trying to think if he's done any elimination round matches. Anyway,
let's see how long it takes to get. Let's see if we're gonna take a little break here or get to game 2 right away. You know, collect yourself, think about what you did, good and bad, before you jump off to the next one.
Yeah, some people just dive right into practice immediately after. Actually, this is Shoka's first match of the elimination round, so I can say with confidence that he's not had a bad elimination round match yet.
That is safe to say.
Yeah. This is actually living up to the name of the Slacker bracket. This is the last round of 16 match to be played. The rest of the round of 8 has already been filled in. In fact, one semifinal participant has already been declared. So we're trying to catch up a little bit. It can be a little difficult scheduling tournament matches when it's such a global tournament. So like Shoka's from Japan, Endy's from Sweden. We have people representing all over the world in this tournament, and so trying to find times that work for everybody can be pretty difficult.
Shout outs to Fishman as well. Just had to put that out there. Shout out to Fishman on the left side. So I guess we shall see. I guess since who's your favorite to, let's see, the first seed Cypher was kicked out in the round 3 match, and his number 2 seed has continued as well. Do seeds matter a lot in this kind of tournament? I mean, it's the PBs are so, at this point, they're pretty close, right? So does seeds mean anything to you think in this tournament? I mean, the favorite is the person with the highest, seed?
So to some extent, I would say yes. Okay, if Shoka wins this, the round of 8 will be the top 8 seeds, meaning that the 8 highest PBs coming into the elimination round will be the 8 that advanced into the round of 8. So, like PB and seed definitely matters, just based on that evidence. But we've seen Streamline, the 8 seed, upset Cypher, the 1 seed. So once you get to this level, I mean, I think you can't really be surprised at any result. If anybody beats anybody else, I don't think anybody would be shocked. Once Cypher's been eliminated, that should definitely show you that nobody is safe.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just noticed that. Yeah, round 2, the favorites won every single match. Well, if Shoka can pull this out, of course. There's been no upsets at all, so that says something. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Endy working on that zip that he had so much trouble with in the race. Probably a good idea.
Yeah. Sometimes so does this qualify as practice? Is he eliminated? Like, is this breaking the gentleman's agreement?
Yes, yeah, you're right. You're correct.
We need a ruling on this. This is very questionable. But yeah, sometimes whether you need the practice on a trick or not, if you fail something in a run, it can be helpful mentally to just do it in practice so that you don't have that failure last.
Yeah.
In your mind, Oh, Shoka practiced before the race. Oh wow, I'm just disappointed in everybody.
We can consider him even then, I guess, right?
Shoka wow, no, I mean, yeah, I'm evenly disappointed in everybody. No, it's okay. They shouldn't have agreed to practice to race without practice anyway. That's foolhardy.
And how long does it go? I mean, does that last the whole tournament now? They can't practice if they get to the finals? That'd be kind of...
I mean, Zoda's going to try to bully whoever wins this match into not practicing for the match with him. But Zoda's not going to play anyway. Like, don't fall into Zoda's trap. Like, just because Zoda's not going to practice doesn't mean that you have to follow that. He's been playing. He's put thousands and thousands of attempts in the game. Don't let him trick you.
So it appears Shoka's ready. Endy appears to be ready as well. Let's see if they get going shortly. Things to watch for in round 2. I guess the biggest thing would be if Endy can pull off fast air without dying. That's kind of what's the difference in game 1 for sure.
Yeah,
Shoka can continue. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
If Shoka can continue his consistent play, he didn't have any kind of real big errors. He had a few things that could have went a little smoother, but yeah, that's it. So let's see what happens in game 2.
Yeah, Shoka made a lot of minor mistakes, but Rockman 2 races are really just about avoiding the big ones. And Endy probably had the 2 biggest mistakes, being obviously the air death, and then I think the first sip in quick was really costly for Endy there. But I don't expect Endy to fail fast air again. He got his one. He got 2 practices at it basically, so that should be all he needs. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, something was said for that. The last GDQ they did that, the Rockman all kind of, what is it, Rockman 1-4 race. And you saw Cypher there. Cypher went in there. When he got to Rockman 2, he was in last place, and he has played the most consistently. He ended up in first place. It's kind of something to say about just being consistent. No, he didn't go for any big strats either. That was one of his strategies there as well. Don't go for anything too crazy. Just go consistent, and he turned it around. So
yeah, he was he had like a high 27 or something, and it basically was the best time comfortably, just because everybody else that played Rockman 2 in that relay, all 3 other runners, made large mistakes, and he didn't. So that goes a long way towards winning races, even this late in the tournament.
So it looks like our runners are ready. We are waiting for a start.
Yeah, they should be just about ready to go. Yeah, they've already started the rematch, so they're just gonna enter and ready up, and we should be getting another match for you here shortly. Not a game. Practice. Oh yeah, and if you just joined, Shoka is actually up 1-0 on Endy, even though it doesn't have the marker down there. Just trust us. We were here for it. We saw it.
Yeah, we can confirm. Endy took a death in Airman stage, which kind of...
Yeah, he was facing an uphill battle, and Shoka just didn't open the door back up. And
which can happen.
Yeah. So both racers are ready. We'll be seeing it start shortly.
One thing that's great about Rockman 2 is there's no kind of RNG or kind of randomness to it. It's outside of a few factors like boss patterns, but still, the things that can be lost in those patterns are so not a big deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely make the difference in a race, but the RNG in this game is not that bad when you can compare it to a lot of other speedruns out there. So I would say that most races are not going to be decided by luck.
Mm-hmm.
If you execute, you stand a good chance of winning. And it looks like we're off here.
And we're off, and I need to restart.
So I think during this tournament, I've said everything about Flash Stage that I ever care to say about Flash Stage.
Yeah, we should do like they do in racing or something. Just enjoy the first lap. Enjoy the sounds. Nothing much to say here.
I'm gonna have chat help me out here, and I want everybody to tell me what your least favorite thing about Flash Stage is.
There you go. We're waiting for the best answer. Best answer gets an internet high five from Fasta here.
Oh wow.
Good luck. We got some good lucks. Like to see that. The colors, that's a good one. I like that. The colors are kind of a little bit annoying, for sure. What's with the flashing, right? What's the deal with the flashing?
It's too short. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it should just be so much longer. Look how interesting this stage is.
Tin can, it's blue. All great answers.
The one curve block right before the last downward scroll.
I like I like the specificness of that.
Yeah, that's a really
Shoka here taking on Flash. See if you get it before the Bedazzler again. And he pulls it off. Endy as well does it as well. Same thing as first match, first game. We didn't get to see the time stopper at all. These guys are too fast.
No stopping. Oh man. Hey, you didn't kill Sabaping, so you don't have any right. Yeah, obviously good job by both racers there. In both runs, they've managed to kill Flashman without a flash. That's a really difficult fight.
Yeah, something for sure. You saw, yeah,
Flash
in the beginning part of this, okay. Definitely good music. Yeah, the beginning of this tournament when there's more runners. Seeing the flash was normal, but now at this stage, it's a much rare occurrence to see the flash hits because the obviously average level of play goes up.
Yeah, depending on which hit you miss when you get flashed, I mean, you can lose 3-4 seconds easily on that fight, and it can take a little while to make that time up. So it's a small thing compared to some of the big mistakes that can happen, but it's not totally trivial. So Shoka a little short again. Endy unfortunately misses this time as well. So last time he caught Shoka on that item 3 throw, but this time he still trails a little bit behind. Both runners with good item 3 setups.
Nice to see.
We'll see if Shoka gains a little bit of time on the Yoku blocks here again.
So the key there is just to jump on the right side as much as possible, right?
Yeah, you wanna jump as soon as it's gonna spawn, and you also want to try to land on the right side just to force the next one to spawn sooner. And yeah, we see Shoka take them just at a little faster clip than Endy there, and then both doing the flash safe strat here as well.
So Shoka with a slight lead, but nothing too serious yet. We'll see how they do with the Heatman. As you can see, Shoka is much more. Oh no, they're both equal aggressively with their their buffer jumps here to see where he's gonna move.
Yeah, it seems like Endy's plan is to buffer jump the first 30, and if he doesn't get that, he sometimes stays a little bit of a distance away. Not always, though. Looks like he's going full tilt here now. So Shoka maintains his lead here. Probably picks up, he picks up a few seconds here in Heatman stage. 4:23 teleport there is very solid for a race. Endy about 4 seconds behind.
And now we enter the stage where, what caused Endy to match game 1 is Airman. So let's see if he can get past it this time successfully.
Yeah, I believe.
Fasta believes. Do you believe, chat? Can he pull it off, Endy? Endy. How many times I've said Andy? Endy with an E.
So Shoka's going to be first on the left here to take on Fast Air. Very good menu. You could hear how quick those inputs were there.
I guess there's one side of the game that's not really talked about, but menuing is a part of this game for sure. And you see it go by so fast when you're watching, but yeah, that is a part of the game that you have to learn.
I would say the biggest advantage that Cypher has on the field is that he is the best menuer in this game by far.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you think about, but his menuing is just on another level.
Endy getting to the point, and Endy, we in there, boys.
We are. He missed the bird manipulation there again, so he's gonna get hit twice. Again, he's at very critical health. Last time he was pretty fortunate. I'm not gonna mince words here.
Please don't.
He was very, very lucky. So he's going to need to get lucky again. We'll see if he gets a drop. One small drop will help, and that'll put him a little bit less in the danger zone. But even with 1 health drop, he's still at the mercy of a bad airman pattern. So he's going to not turn the bird around and try to, you know, kill extra enemies here and farm for health drops. So there's one. That's good. Good decision there by Endy. I fully support that.
Yeah, great, quick decision, right? You got to think, like, don't play normally because I want to get drops, so kill more stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
See, he meant to jump over that health, I think. The 2 health he got from that does nothing. Airman's tornadoes do 4, so now he has 12 health. He's still going to die in 2 hits. Very nice kill for Shoka.
Wow, yeah, that was fast.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
We have.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that was interesting for a little bit, but he pulled it out. Endy, nice with the 4 hit damage left. One hit would have killed him for sure there. But
yeah, that was a pretty jerk pattern from Airman there. But luckily that 3rd pattern was dodgeable, so he didn't take the auto death there from just getting 3 undodgeable patterns in a row. But the health drop saved him there, that's for sure, because that pattern would have killed him at 8 health. Although without the health drop, he would have gotten a different pattern because of the way RNG works, but whatever. Just ignore that.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Shoka. Last time he went for pure Task Clash, which is an insane strat that pretty much nobody does in races. He didn't quite get it last time. We'll see if he's able to here. Oh no, he's going for Biggie this time.
Yeah, I think maybe he that's another sign he might have been screen watching, right? He saw he was ahead, so.
Yeah, so he didn't quite get Biggie here. Last time Endy went for the 2nd screen zip, and he's doing that again this time as well. So if he sets this up correctly, he's going to pick up a little bit of time on Shoka. Ooh, that was fancy.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah, normally you see someone grab at the top of the screen and drop from there, but he grabbed like right under the Met. I've never actually seen that before.
Endy breaking new ground here.
It looked really fancy, yeah.
Breaking new ground here. I don't know if you can hear my cat is screaming out there.
Yeah, it's okay.
Apologize if you can. He's enjoying the race.
Yeah, the cat loves Rockman too.
He's cheering for Endy, I think.
Yeah, can't blame him. I mean, you got to root for Team B-Trigger. That's just the way it goes. Smart cat.
Interesting part. It's hard as a casual watcher to know how difficult it is until you try it, because it looks like you just throw item 3 and jump, right? But the game wants you to grab onto the ladder, right?
Yeah, so there's like 4 pixel windows every 16 pixels where you can basically push A and B at the same time and just land directly on the item 3. It takes quite a bit of practice to hit that climb the way both of those runners did. That was very clean. Got to really, really trust your visual cue and hit a fairly tight timing window. Good fight for Shoka. Very nice. This little manipulation where they fire to the left to make Clashman jump towards you right at the start. And it makes the fight a lot more manageable. You kind of mitigate the bad RNG that used to exist in the fight.
And Endy there with a kill as well. So we in 6 seconds, something like that? In the 6 to 10 range?
This is great start for both runners. This is exactly where you want to be. Just get out of the early game. The early game is really scary. Quick is pretty scary also. We saw both runners struggle with Quick. So Shoka goes ahead and picks up the 1-up again.
Endy will as well. Oh, no, he chooses not to. Excuse me.
Yeah, he's
item in there.
He can always pick up the 1 in the fall, but I'm going to assume if he didn't get it the first time, he's probably not going to get it here either. There's a lot of debate over whether picking up the 1-up is worth it or not, because in some places a game over is actually better than a standard death, but in some places it's much, much worse. So it just depends on the individual runner.
Shoka with lightning quick setup there.
Oh, Endy actually gets the setup, but misses the A trigger this time.
Oh,
Gets it the second time. Probably drops about 6 seconds or so from that zip. He picked up a little bit of time by virtue of not grabbing the 1-up, but yeah, Shoka pulled away on that first zip for sure. Probably about a 10-second difference or something now.
Shoka just continuing to not give any room here for Endy here to make any mistakes.
Yeah, he's a solid competitor. Woo-hoo-hoo. Stops 1 tile short. Very nice. 1 quick wiggle to get in the door, and that's...
Nice.
Yeah. Very clean. Ooh. These zip setups, man. They're not easy.
Yeah, Endy's not having the easiest time with these setups here on this stage. In the first game as well.
Andy stops 2 tiles short. Struggles a little bit with the wiggles, but gets in there. Shoka had a solid fight, got 6 really quick hits in, and then danced around with Quick Man a little bit before getting the last one, but didn't miss a bomb.
Let's see if Endy can do a quick fight here.
Ooh, nice. Very good fight for Andy there. That 5th hit, I think, was a little scary. Or maybe it was the 6th one, where Quick Man jumped. I think a high jump might have been trouble, but the low jump, he was able to not miss the bomb.
And we are off the Woodman, stage where the magic happens, behind the scenes.
Yeah. We didn't talk about it the first time because there was a little bit more of a gap, but there's a route divergence here. They're gonna do metal and wood in reverse orders. You can do either of them 6th or 7th. And so 2 stages from now, we'll see them sync up again before they go into bubble.
And there's no real difference except just preference, right? Like, oh, I like to do Metalman first rather than Woodman. It's no difference, right?
Yeah, I mean, having metal for Woodman can matter if you want to use Metal Blade on the dogs as a backup in case something goes wrong. But it really doesn't matter which one you choose. For speedrun purposes, I would say Wood is a much harder stage than Quick, so sometimes doing that first and getting your resets out of the way earlier, potential resets, can be a deciding factor sometimes when, it's a toss-up, which one you should go to next. I'd rather have more difficult stages earlier in the speedrun, typically. In a race setting, though, it doesn't matter. You're not resetting.
Yeah.
Alright. 2 really good metal zip setups for Endy in that stage. That was a really clean metal stage. Messed up the fight a bit, but otherwise really well executed.
It's possible to just lock him there and he just stands there, right? Forever, right? Did you hit him with the boomerang?
Not forever, but long enough for you to kill him if you execute it correctly. He does eventually start jumping again, like basically right after you're done killing him if you didn't mess up. One thing to note here, Shoka went for the flash on the dogs. Last race, Endy went for the dog scrolls, executed them really well. So he's presumably going to try to do that again, and if he succeeds, he's going to pick up some time on Shoka here. Even though Shoka executed his strat really well. And Endy came up... oh, he overzipped. That's unfortunate. And he didn't get the 1-up. So this is the danger here. When you overzip this first one, you have to take a death here to reach the checkpoint. But that leaves you with 0 lives. So now he can't do the wood zip and suicide in the checkpoint room. And so that is a really, really painful death.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's probably going to cost him about a minute.
Yeah, that's...
We'll see how well he knows how to play the second half of the stage. Honestly, like, I barely know how to traverse these screens at all.
the fun monkeys and stuff that no one sees in the speaker.
Yeah, I zip past it every time. I can never see it. It can be pretty tough to do quickly, but he's managing pretty well here. Oh, that's a metal dance if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Yeah, Shoko is not the perfect, not the best metal fight there, but still he's so far ahead that going fine.
Yeah, he's ahead of his pace from last run, and his last run was borderline 27 going into refights. So.
Andy, welcome himself into chat with me. Well, that was unfortunate, and that is true, Andy.
I mean, Endy has made probably the 2 worst mistakes you can make in robots in each of these races. So, I mean, what can you do? He's played overall, I think, pretty well, but the mistakes he's unfortunately made have just been really punishing ones.
I like the confidence there. He's claiming that Choco's going to fall down to the dragon there. So we don't hope for anyone to fail, but it could, it's something that could happen.
Confidence in someone else's misfortune. That's the way to be.
That's the best way. That's true sportsmanship, folks.
I mean, that's the only way I'm beating Cool Kid is if he messes up. So it's just the way it goes, man. You don't want someone to fail, but when you're competing, you want to win too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a really strong argument for picking up the 1-up. in Quick Man stage if you do dog scrolls because of that mistake that happened right there. With the 1-up, you go ahead and take the death. You still do the wood zip. You probably lose 10 seconds. It's not that punishing, but we've seen a lot of people that have switched to picking up the 1-up when they've decided to start doing dog scrolls there rather than flashing the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And he was feeling a little bold, and unfortunately it bit him in this race. Last race it didn't. He had beautiful dog scrolls and saved quite a bit of time there, but
Shoka with the 3 bubble again.
Yeah.
He did get game 1, he got that too. So
yeah, and so did Endy. We've seen a lot of 3 bubble. So even stronger 8 robots from Shoka there. That was really nice. And that was without Biggie too.
Oh yeah. Shoka's rounding into his final form. Endy is significantly behind now, but there's still anything can happen here. Let's not say there's no hope here because things can go off the rails here. But it'll take a Shoka mistake here to make this a game here.
Well, I mean, Endy's already predicted a dragon death.
Now we're gonna have the chat hoping for a dragon death. We shouldn't do that.
I mean, I'm here to see entertainment. I'm like, I don't want to root against anybody, but I'd like to see a close race. I wouldn't mind if it tightens up. But yeah, Shoka's got a pretty sizable lead here again, just like the first match. It was close for a while, but
yeah, this one started out by
Endy's misadventures in wood have opened this up a little bit, where Shoka can afford to play it a little bit on the safer side. He struggles with the first zip there. Not only did he miss it, but he also burned an extra item 1. Shouldn't be a huge deal because I know he plans on getting the item 1 in Wily 2 anyway, because he did it in the first race. But that's definitely some time that Endy can make up here because of that missed zip. He probably lost a good 6 seconds there. And the second zip nails it.
The chat is assembling the pitchforks and is asking for a dragon death, so we shall see what happens.
Oh man. The mob is spoken.
Yeah. Here we go. Here comes the dragon. Spoken of dragon for Shoka here.
Oh, Endy jumped once too many times, I think, there. But unfortunately, he misses the Wily 1 zip as well. The way he missed it is a little faster than the way Shoka missed it, though.
Mega Man stands triumphantly on the block, guys.
And he's got to work on his prognostication skills.
There is no dragon death. I guess, okay, from now on out, though, let's talk about potential time losses. So what's the biggest thing that could happen for Shoka here? Is it Purple Hell spikes, or what is it? What's the biggest possible mistake that happens kind of, not regularly, but does happen?
The biggest ones that can let anybody back in the match would be either over-zipping the Wily 4 zip or messing up the Boo Beam fight in a way that either you die or you run out of crash bombs. And that's not something you see a ton, but it definitely happens, especially if you miss the either one of two things. You run out of item 1 trying to set up the Wily 4 zip, and then you have to start the fight from the bottom. A lot of people are not that comfortable with the fight that way. Or at the start, when you try to zip onto the top platform, like over-zipping or under-zipping can cause that fight to go off the rails. So those would be the most common things.
Yeah, Indian chat answering the question as well as you did, so perfectly. All right, Wily 4 as well. His next hope.
Yeah, a Wily 4 spike. Sorry. I was going to say, a Wily 4 spike death also is very time costly if you didn't pick up the 1-up, but Shoka did. So a lot of them, like dying to Wily Machine would be a huge death if Shoka had 0 lives, but he has 1. And so that's another, another reason why a lot of people will pick up the 1-up. Even though there's places where the 1-up is not helpful, there are some really big deaths that are game overs that it insulates you from.
Mm-hmm. So Sports Fifi with a comment here, and he says, Shoka has shown no flaws in 40 minutes, but I think you would say that's no flaws is kind of a strong statement. He's been very consistent, but no flaws is also a bit too strong, right?
So yeah, what Shoka has done is he's avoided the big mistakes, and he's done that expertly. Every mistake he's made has been a small one, and that's why he's in the driver's seat again in match 2, and just a few stages away from taking this match 2-0, or taking this, series 2-0, and moving on to the round of 8.
So, Andy taking care of the toasters here. Get your fish bets in now, because we're almost to fish time, guys.
Both runners are able to handle Wily 2 just fine. Yeah, Misha says the gap is about 39 seconds, so that's definitely within range of Endy to come back, even without a catastrophic Wily 4 mistake, but it still would take a big mistake somewhere. An overzip of Wily 6, hugging the alien, something. A death against one of the, refight bosses, a death to Wily Machine. Missing crash bombs, not having any crash bombs for Wily 5. There's a lot of things this game can throw at you. Ooh.
It's kind of low-key. Kind of a low-key. Endy has caught up a little bit of time here in the last couple of stages. 3 fish. Do we have a 4 fish? Do we have a 4?
Yeah, Shoka's Wily 3 was actually...
Right now.
Yeah. Shoka's Wily 3 was actually pretty sloppy there. So Endy probably has gained some time here. We'll see how his final quarter goes here, because Shoka got hit here and then also picked up a big refill, whereas Endy does the hallway perfectly. And then Shoka had a 4 jump, and it was even a little bit slower than that because he missed a jump.
Mm-hmm. Endy with the prediction that hugging alien probably won't be enough at this point. Would you agree with that statement?
Well, not by itself, but that's just assuming that the gap doesn't close in Wily 4 just on movement, or in refights on, execution and luck, and there's a lot of things that can happen. There's still, I would say, so Shoka misses the vertical wrap here in Wily 4. Like, that's 9 seconds just right there. That Endy can make up. And so when you start to add stuff like that together with an alien hug, absolutely, I think it can be enough. But
Shoka has not had the cleanest Wily stages at all.
Yeah, his robos were a lot better than his first run. So he struggles with this. Yeah, he doesn't quite do this top setup either, so he's gonna have to walk half this hallway. So we'll see. Endy's coming up on some of this stuff here too. We'll see if he can make up the ground that Shoka left open for him. And so he does get this vertical wrap.
Note that Shoka does not dance in the stage of his namesake. That's interesting. He's in serious mode right now, guys.
Wow, I never thought I'd see the day. So Endy had basically a perfect climb. So he probably saved a good 10 seconds or more on Shoka in the climb.
Oh yeah, without question, he's caught up a lot of ground now. Endy does the Shoka dance defiantly, saying, "I'm coming for you."
So, okay, Shoka does drop in. He managed to get the top exit correctly. So we'll see if he can get this bottom double. That's a pretty key. He used high, so he's going to be short a crash bomb here.
Oh, okay, okay.
And Endy's coming up right behind him. Having trouble with the wiggles.
Come on, come on.
Okay, he's in.
So one bomb less than he should have.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on these teleport times. That's 25:04 for Shoka. And let's see if we can get the double. This is going to be big. He got it.
Yes.
And, okay, so he definitely made up a lot of time in Wily 4, but he still needs some help.
Yes, he still needs some help, but he's playing his way into this as much as possible, I think. It's really... And he has 2 bombs left when Shoka only has 1. I'm not sure how much time that saves, but it is something.
Yeah. Recall Shoka's refights were a little sloppy last time, so he probably will want to clean it up here, because I think the gap is less than 25 seconds now.
Oh, yeah, I'd say around there.
So Shoka skips the health from Clash Man.
As
And he runs into
to...
Woodman. So, he dies to Woodman!
Oh! Okay.
Okay, so he's still ahead, but look how close this is now. So now, Endy is heading towards Woodman right now. Shoka is fighting Woodman right now.
This is what's known as real, folks. This just got real.
Okay, so he got the health from Woodman. Oh, Endy didn't quite execute the fight correctly. And grabs the health as well. So now airman pattern is going to matter. Will either of them get the 2-cycle? Bad pattern for Shoka, another bad pattern for Shoka. And, oh! Endy got the god pattern!
Okay, okay!
Nobody missed! Oh, no!
No!
Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was the second phase. I thought that was the first. Okay, but, yeah, so that was unfortunate. I thought that was the first phase I was looking at.
Okay, we're still one boss difference between our two runners here, so this is very, very close, guys.
Yeah.
Endy not having the best heat man there. Took care of it,
So
though.
Shoka's starting bubble. He's low on health. And keep in mind, Shoka has 1 crash bomb. So he needs to collect Bubble's health there. He's got to keep his health high enough. Okay. Endy probably accidentally, he probably didn't want the health there, but he got it. Shoka enters Flash at 27:15.
Yeah, worth remembering that he has
Endy
one
at
extra crash bomb.
27:20. So it's a 5-second difference, and Endy has an extra crash bomb.
This is going to be close.
Keep in mind also that Endy's alien fight was better than Shoka's in Race 1.
This is what we're hoping for, guys. What's going to come down to it?
So Shoka's going to have to use metal. Ooh, Shoka might die. This is not good.
Oh, Shoka takes a death.
Yeah.
Wow.
Endy takes the lead. Shoka with the game over. That's probably a 2-minute loss. So Endy just basically he can walk his way to victory here.
Wow.
Incredible. So we're gonna see a game 3 most likely. Endy's just gotta finish this one up here, but he can play it. He can play it as safe as he wants to. Just needs to make sure he finishes up. Good setup.
Yeah.
Gotta avoid the overzip. Endy's wiggles, man.
Yes, it appears we are heading to a game 3. If Endy, of course. Let's not counter chickens before they're hatched here.
The 1 crash bomb going into Wily Machine, that's something that not everybody has put a lot of practice into, because it doesn't happen that much, but... Oh man, I thought he was going to touch the alien there. Alright.
Got real close, yeah.
GG, Endy.
Okay, so we are going to game 3, guys. And, what seemed to be impossible was very possible. The mistakes kind of piled up, and Shoka had a not great Wily stage.
I mean...
Big mistake that never took out.
I mean, I think we can all agree that Endy won because of the Shoka dance, right?
I think so. I think it was Shoka saw it, and he knew it was coming.
That's pretty just airtight logic. I don't see how else you could look at it.
So let's watch Shoka here close it out. Now, I wonder what Shoka's head's at right now. I mean, if he wasn't stream watching, of course, he doesn't know. But I'm sure. I think he is, and
he'll have seen. Regardless, he'll have seen Endy done in SRL. So, like, he definitely knows he's lost this one. Did he know that he was 5 seconds ahead going into Wily Machine? Like, that's hard to say. That's hard to say, but I am really curious what would have happened there. Oh no! Wily Machine is having his way with Shoka in this run.
Yes, he does not want Shoka to continue. You shall not pass, Shoka.
Yeah.
Let's see if Shoka keeps going. Oh yeah, he's gonna keep doing it, which I always appreciate.
He's got as many crash bombs as he wants. He used 3 in the first fight. He shot 2 of them there. All right, and Shoka takes care of Wily Machine. But yeah, I mean, I think it would have been really close going into Wily 6 had that fight gone more standard for Shoka there. And then it would have come down to just the last stage. But unfortunately, Shoka had a little bit of issues with mashing down the machine in the second phase. Like you can most people, what they will do there is use Crash Bomb on the first phase and Metal on the second, which is what Shoka did. But you need to like hit all your shots. You can only have 3 Metal Blades at once, and so if you end up like, oh, Shoka overzipped.
Yeah, I think Shoka's. We can see his mind. Wonder what his mindset is right now. He might be a little bit flustered, to say the least, how things are going. He needs to reset things. Reset. Calm the mind. Get ready for game 3.
Yeah, he's gonna just go ahead and call this one and get prepared for the next one, and then that's fine. Like this, sometimes like you can just kind of spiral, and especially after the race is lost. It's just
normal when you go for PBs, you make a mistake, you reset. But when this one, it's a race, so you can't reset, so you get a mistake.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be seeing a game 3.
For sure. Improbable. It appeared how improbable it seemed 15 minutes ago. We shall see a game 3, and hopefully you guys are enjoying watching this with us.
Yeah, goes to show no lead is safe in Rockman 2.
They did misspell character designer. There's a lot of misspellings in this. I call them Easter eggs, not character misspellings.
Yeah, this game has character.
Yeah. A lot of funny stuff in there.
All thanks to Fishman.
Exactly.
Without Fishman, this game would not have been possible, I'm pretty sure.
We did have a 4 fish as well, didn't we? I think. 4 fish? Fish for game 2, which is important for those keeping track at home. 2 bingo cards out there.
Oh man, so game 3. I'm pretty excited. I don't know about you guys, but one of these guys is going on to the round of 8.
For sure, and I think the storyline is where Shoka's head's at right now. Because we saw he's kind of flustered at the end there, missing some stuff, and he obviously blew a huge lead in game 2. Does he start as smooth?
I think
everything as mistake-free as he was in the game 2 or game 1.
Yeah, I think this little bit of a break will be enough to kind of settle his nerves, and I think he'll just jump back in and be fine. Shoka's he's a tried and true competitor.
Yeah, he's played this game quite a few times, so he knows what he has to do.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. But yeah, third match should be coming up real shortly here.
And worth noting, I don't think we've seen the best of Endy yet either, really. Like he's had a few mistakes through each of these games. He turned it on there at the game 2 for sure, but we haven't seen the best of Endy yet either, I don't think so.
No, that last run from Endy was a 27, I think, without the overzip in wood. I'm pretty sure. So like overall, I would say he played really well. But yeah, we'll see. Shoka's played really well aside from the end of that last run. This is truly anybody's race in my mind.
Here we go, and we are off. So what do you want to ask? We're part of Flashman's chat. Last time we asked the words, what's your favorite part? Because we have nothing else to say about this stage.
I'm gonna say no Sapa Ping.
I'm going to say the trajectory of those guys' shots. It appears they should shoot horizontal, but they do go up a little.
Oh, man. That's probably my least favorite thing about the stage. The one guy can snipe you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I've had like 30 to 40 resets in one stream just from that second shot, man, just sniping me.
So it might appear they start a second apart. The races, it kind of matters their own time. Look at the time on the bottom. That's what matters. If they don't start the same exact second or something, it's no big deal.
Yeah, a lot of that's just stream delay. And then sometimes they'll kind of clean it up on their end and sync it. But this is really close, so it's not a huge deal either way.
No problem. 1 hour photo.
But they did start at the same time. Okay. Good fight for Endy again. And Shoka gets him without the flash. Missed one shot, but not a big deal. The start of the race is synced on Speedruns Live. There's another client, and so they both absolutely start and end the race at set times that are recorded by a bot. And then what's being displayed isn't necessarily going to quite match that, but we try to get it as close as possible.
So speaking to the consistency of the runners here, we saw 6 games now and no time stopper. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's impressive. To get that 3 in a row for both of those runners is awesome. So actually, so for the first time, Endy takes a slight lead into heat. That's been Shoka's.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
the previous 2 races, but Endy's starting to feel it maybe a little bit now. He got his practice in those first 2 matches. He's realizing this is not Mega Man 3 Game Boy. And nails the item 3 throw. 2 out of 3. Not bad. See if Shoka can get it here. Short all 3 times. He basically threw the same arc item 3 all 3 times, so gotta applaud his consistency if nothing else.
Gotta recalibrate. Get out there on the court and throw a few around.
Yeah, if someone could just like move that wall just like a pixel to the left, a couple pixels to the left, he'd be golden.
Okay, Shoka not the smoothest zip there, but now he's there, and he's a little bit extending his lead just slightly.
Yeah, you can see Shoka taking the blocks again, a little bit faster than Endy. Now, with him being off to a little bit of a rough start, okay, he's still going to go with Flash. So neither runner is going, is changing anything for this game 3. Just go with what got you here, and that's what we're seeing from both of them right now. Endy spoiling his Heatman fight. That's I'm expecting a lot of 90s here.
That's a 90. Yeah, Heatman feels like posing a lot for Endy here.
Gyarados rightly calling Endy out for the spoilers. Thank you, Gyarados. You did the right thing. Endy's still Shoka's pattern hasn't really been great either. So Endy's still got a pretty decent lead going into air. Looks like maybe 7 or 8 seconds.
Yeah, pretty decently. And yeah, remember, let's not forget game 1. This is where Endy, lost the game basically, is when he died here. So let's see if he can pull it out here. Or of course Shoka, who Shoka, is that Shoka as well in chat saying Kuso Heat, which is basically F Heat man in Japanese there. So
yeah. Neither very happy about their Heatman pattern. That's for sure. Endy's start for this run, execution-wise, has been brilliant.
Yeah, Endy with his best start by far.
Regardless of the heat luck, anyway.
Which can't be easy for Shoka to see here because, Shoka had that rough game 2 ending, and now he's having not the best game 3 start. You gotta keep the mental fortitude rolling here to continue to stay in this race.
I mean, you can't worry about 8-9 second deficit when there's minute mistakes that can be made. So you just gotta play your game and stay steady. Endy the first to go for fast air here, and for the first time, he missed the birds again. I was gonna say he was gonna have not have a health problem for Airman, but it looks like he's gonna have to hope for not the worst pattern from Airman anyhow. But at least he has more health than he did in the previous 2 races, coming into this strain anyway.
So he doesn't have to get extra health though, for sure, right?
Yeah, he doesn't need it, but at the same time, he's still vulnerable to bad Airman patterns. He can be killed with bad luck, but he does choose to turn the bird. When you're in this situation, you would need 2 small health drops, and usually, last time we saw him not turn the bird and just farm for health, but your chance of getting 2 small drops is probably not that high, and you're most likely with this amount of health going to be fine. So I would agree with the decision that he went for there.
Sure what it means. If a bird gets spawned on that screen coming from the right side, but if you turn to the left side at the right pixel when he's going to be spawned, he comes from the other side because it kind of matters where Mega Man's facing. So.
Endy! Wow. Props to Endy there. He found that really tight spot in between the Tornado and Airman.
Again, with 4 damage left, he pulls it out with a 1 hit away from death there.
Yeah, good job by both runners. Both dealt with tricky patterns and came out on the other side.
Nice. So, yeah,
Airman does 8 contact damage, by the way. So, like, even Shoka, if he walked into Airman there, would have taken a death, even with all the health that he had. So, close race. We're going into Clash. Endy gonna go for the second screen Clash Sip, I'm assuming. Shoka gonna go for some variation of screen 1.
Yeah, he has the first 2 times. Does he go for the Taz? I bet he's not feeling that right. Normal zip there.
I would imagine we're gonna see Big E from Shoka. And then if he can nail it, we'll get 4 or 5 seconds on Endy here, assuming Endy gets a clean setup screen 2, which he does. And he does that mid-screen grab again. Pretty fancy. So Shoka did go for Taz Clash.
Wow.
Fails it quickly. Oh, okay. Able to set up the second screen. It was looking a little dicey there, but he got it.
Yeah, he got it.
Thankfully, he failed Taz Clash fairly quickly, where he's not going to lose that much time on Endy here. He did waste, I think, 1 item 1? So he's going to have to cut 1 out of the climb here, which will help out Endy a little bit, but not a big deal. Oh, good save by Shoka there. He actually almost fell.
Yeah. Clutch save there. Who seems to be playing a bit smoother since the start of this match here. The difference in runners is about 6-7 seconds or so.
Yeah. I just want to point out the item 3 climb that Endy's doing, where he's actually placing item 3s on the wall and then climbing above it. It really doesn't cost that much time, and I would recommend that to anybody that's starting out with this game. It's a really easy climb to do it that way, and it's pretty close. It doesn't lose that much time to what the world record does, basically. So, yeah, good strat for Endy there. Endy with a clean Clashman fight. And
more than 10 seconds or so now, I believe.
Yeah, Endy picked up some time there. I mean, Shoka going for Taz Clash and missing definitely gave Endy the advantage, because he just decided to go straight for the screen 2 zip. But a really well executed stage for Endy all around there.
This is where we will see the runners diverge in their paths. Oh no.
Yeah, quick first, then we're going to see that.
Quick first, then we'll see the diversions, yeah.
So Endy has had trouble with this first zip and quick. In both of his first 2 runs. Last time he set it up correctly, but just missed the A trigger, so if he does that and gets his A trigger, he'll be fine. Whew. Gets his toe on the edge of that item 1, or his heel, and he's good. Good setup for Endy. Bringing his best in game 3.
Oh, yeah. Of note, Shoka did get the 1-up again. That seems to be pretty standard for him.
Yeah.
Go for it. Endy did not, right?
Yeah, I mean, so keep in mind in that last race, so Shoka died to Woodman, if you recall. That would have been a game over had he not picked up the 1-up. He ended up game overing against Wily Machine, but the fact that he had that 1-up is what kept him in the lead over Endy going into Wily Machine. So it definitely paid off there, and we saw Endy overzip Wood and lose a minute because he didn't have a 1-up. So, like, these are big decisions, and the 1-up definitely factored into that last race being as close as it was.
Endy having the
Okay. Endy was not the best quick man.
No,
kind of got away from him a little bit. But he's still got a comfortable lead on Shoka here. Not as comfortable as Shoka's leads were in the previous 2.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
as comfortable as he can get in Rockman 2 anyhow. Shoka just fired straight into the wall. I think we're looking at about 18 seconds or so for Endy ahead after quick here.
Endy somehow having the mental space to worry about this race and play great in the race, but also participate in chat, so something worth noting.
Endy is a multi-talented individual.
I don't know how.
Probably taking care of his kids also.
Endy with a little rough as it there, but he pulls it off.
Yeah, gets the backup pretty quickly. For all the failed zips in this game, that one's a pretty quick one to recover from. Let's see. Oh, Shoka goes to metal. This is interesting. Maybe he's just trying to make it more entertaining for the viewers. But he had gone to Wood Wood 6th in the previous race.
Oh, you're right. So maybe this
I was expecting to see that again, but no, they're going to be on the same stage here.
This is fan service, I think. For you guys to see.
Shoka is a man of the people, I will say. Alright, solid enough stage for both. I think Shoka a little solider.
Definitely solider. Can second that.
Good fight for Endy there. He actually struggled, I think, with both of his first two Metal Man fights, if I recall.
Yeah, he got the other side. He got the left side of the screen for sure.
Yeah. So he takes care of business there. Really clean fight.
You can tell how far apart they are by like seeing when one finishes something and then just counting.
Really good fight for Shoka also.
He gets a mini jump and then he's dead. That's the best. So we are now both going to Woodman, which is nice to see. We can see the difference in the time here.
So here's the question: with an 18-second lead or 17 or whatever, does Endy go for Flash here, or does he risk the mistake that he made in the last race? Does he know how to go for Flash here?
Exactly, that's the thing. He might not even think.
He's going to Flash. Okay. So Endy will play to his circumstances. He is a notorious stream watcher in races.
So he goes Bedazzler.
Yeah, I think that zip was long enough to get past his third dog. So he manages. Very good. Meanwhile, Shoka going for dog scrolls this time. We're
cats and dogs living together.
Yeah, we're all
doing crazy stuff.
Shoka, okay, he gets it. Struggled a little bit with it, but gets through. I'm not sure that saved time on what Endy did there. If it did, not by much. Solid scrolls, though, like after the first screen. That might help him a little bit.
Endy pointing out the same as us. Yeah, he definitely usually does wood before metal, but he went metal first this time for us, I feel. Know how the race is doing more easily.
So Endy handles the wood zip just fine. And makes very short work of Woodman there.
And as we said in previous games, Shoko is not giving any space for Endy to catch up, but I think now it is Endy that is doing the same. Not giving any space for Shoka to catch up.
Yeah. We'll see. Ooh, Shoka has a little bit rough Woodman fight. Woodman not being too kind to Shoka in this series. I think the gap is roughly the same. Still about 18 seconds. Endy ahead. It's an interesting item 2 setup that Endy goes for there. Places the item 2 and then goes back rather than landing on it. I don't think I've seen that before.
So, yeah, about 20 seconds, I think, if my count was correct, my mental count there.
It could be something like that.
This is definitely the first time Shoka is going to enter Wily without a comfortable lead.
Yeah.
Let's just see if he plays any differently.
I mean, he definitely played differently in Wood. We saw that. He didn't go for the item 2 zip route here, which I don't blame him. And he's having some trouble with the lanternfish again. Or maybe it was Shoka in a previous race, but I think Endy had trouble with that in one of the previous races as well. Having some trouble with the frogs as well. So I think Shoka's picking up some time here, because Endy's item 1 setup was a little low as well. I think Shoka had a better one. Little things, but little things all add up.
Yeah, as we saw last time. I mean, he was catching up. Endy was catching up before Shoka died. He was getting closer.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see if we're getting 3 bubbles again. Wow, Bubble Man is a huge jerk.
Yeah, he's just dropping 3 like it's his job.
Yes. Super slow pattern for Endy there. Let's see what Shoka gets. He can pick up some time. I mean, he already picked up time in bubble, and he gets a 2 bubble pattern, so this is faster. Endy teleports out at 1641, which is very solid 8 robots.
And Shoka at?
It's going to be 52? 51. So 10 seconds difference.
I feel like there's time caught up. Some time was caught up there for sure, though.
Oh yeah, that was a very profitable bubble stage for Shoka. He picked up, you know, between 8 and 10 seconds there, depending on the count. So
now we're getting to the thick of it, boys. Eyebrow is coming in, and we are in the final half of the game, a little bit more than half. But here's where it gets interesting.
Yep. I think they both had trouble with this first Wily 1 zip last time. And I think they both got it the first time, so we'll see what happens here. Wily 1's a pretty important stage. Both of the vertical zips in this stage are pretty difficult. The first one is not as punishing. The second one is really punishing to miss if you fall. All right.
Yeah, as we've seen, the race hasn't been close at this point, so both of them kind of missed this pretty regularly, but didn't really matter. But now it does matter, so we'll see what they do.
And he goes with the cool kid setup there, I think, for the wrap. And he manages it perfectly there.
Shoka definitely missed this last time.
Yeah, he got it just fine this time.
Yeah.
We'll see how Endy does on the second wrap here. Okay, beautiful. He had a little bit of trouble with the second one here, but looks like he got it just fine this time. He jumped an extra time there just to be sure, because he underjumped it. Woo! Ooh. That was a really tight setup for Shoka there.
Nice. Yeah, he had that was swag. I feel that was definitely swag there. So as Endy did last game, it's only fair for the dragon. Does the dragon choose to push him off?
Oh, that would be
wish for Shoka's demise.
I don't even want to consider that. This race is so good. Yeah, and Endy going top lock, he is not leaving anything to chance. But that's a slow fight. And you have to keep in mind, like, Shoka's gaining ground on him, and he can't play too safe here. Shoka goes down to the bottom block and gets a faster kill. So Endy teleports out at 59. I would imagine Endy had a really good stage. Shoka picked up a second there, so it's a 9-second lead for Endy now. We'll see if Shoka goes for the item 1 refill again. Endy has not, and continues to do so.
Continues not to do so. So yeah, if he knows he's behind, he might say, "I don't need it."
But Shoka's still going to go for it. Okay. I honestly can't say I blame him. It's so potentially punishing to run out of item 1s. Oh, no! So he plays that item 1 just barely too far to the right. And this is where having the extra 1 up actually doesn't help you at all. Because now you've wasted an item 1. Now you have 0 lives, and you're just as much at risk of a game over. And you're an item 1 down.
Oh, the same mistake. It's that same mistake.
That looked like an instant replay right there.
Okay,
now
so
it takes the game over.
Yeah. That is something. Now it's not the worst. It's not the worst place to place the game over if you have to choose, right? It's not like the hugest of time losses. There. Obviously, it's huge, but not the big as it could be, right?
Yeah, I mean, one game over there is probably 20 seconds. But dying there twice, I mean, we're talking about 35, 40 seconds there, and he was already behind by 8. So yeah. Endy now in the driver's seat with. I mean, we'll see at the end of the stage, but I'm guessing probably over 40 seconds of a lead on Shoka here, which is pretty significant.
Yeah, Endy taking care of the toasters. Now, as we said last time, though, this was the case last time. We said, okay, and Shoka has to make some huge mistake, but and it did happen. So we'll see. Endy just has to be smooth and steady here, and he will. But that's not always the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. Oh man, what a series this has been.
Yeah, I didn't expect Shoka to die there with something that's a pretty rare place to die. I feel.
Yeah. Endy, meanwhile, I think just chugging along on, probably high 27 pace, maybe low 28. I don't know, but like he's had a solid run. He's going into Wily 3. If he dies in Wily 3, he'll be regretting.
No, yeah, Wily 3 should be make the jumps, watch out for the spikes, count the fish. That's the playbook there. Shoka, impossible game. In chat, he says impossible game.
I do not disagree. Imagine speedrunning this in a tournament. Who would subject themselves to such a thing?
Okay, Andy with the one fish. World record is something I can tell you.
26:37 by Cypher.
Is something that Fasta can tell you. Faster than I can.
I got you.
So Andy here coming up the Gutsman. See how many jumps he does here.
Oof, one jump, or one hit short of the 3 jump there. But yeah, pretty clean stage for Endy as we would expect. No, Shoka.
Yeah, Shoka Shoka is mentally, maybe he knows it was kind of over, and that's always a tough place to be when you gotta try to go fast, but it's kind of, you got a long way to go,
Oh yeah, I mean it's tough when things start to fall apart in this game, because like you definitely can't think that it's over because there's so many huge mistakes that can happen in Wily 4 through 6. That death is just really weird though, because when you jump from the middle platform and just hold A, you bonk against the ceiling and it's impossible to hit the spikes.
Yeah,
we saw Zaraki take that death in the AGDQ relay. And it's just really surprising to see a death there.
It's really doesn't happen. It should have no chance of happening, but Shoka knew he was behind, knew he made it. How to get many? Yeah, Shoka with a good point. He wanted to get a lot of fish for you guys, so we enjoyed that. He's always about the fan service, as we've seen here. So,
Endy with a pretty slow Wily 4 climb, which would have mattered a lot more, I think, before that last death by Shoka. At this point, Endy's big fear here is a game over because he didn't pick up the 1-up. Mm-hmm. So any death here is a game over. As long as he avoids that, he's in good shape. But keep in mind, Shoka's going to be just entering Wily 4 here. Any death here by Endy will put him behind Shoka.
There you go. So that's something to keep in mind. It's definitely not over.
How to get many fish.
It's a good idea, right?
Yeah, Shoka farming fish. Wow. Great setup for Endy there. That he was that aggressive with that setup while trying to protect a lead like this is very impressive. Okay, so he does overzip here. Just gotta get the corner jump. He does. So Endy no stranger to corner jumps, and oh, so he gets knocked down. He's gonna go for the double. Misses high. So this is danger territory here for Endy. He's gotta just make sure he doesn't. I think he can take one more hit even. So I think he's okay. He's got an extra item 1. Gonna dodge the shot, and he got hit by it.
The first.
Okay, he's fine. He's fine. 2 health. This is all you need. Just need 1 and 0.
That really shows he knows, how to improvise though, because he did that stage, obviously very different than optimally there.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
It's not the way you exactly want to do the Wily 4 fight. He left there with 1 crash bomb, so with the lead he has, he just needs to not die. He knows it, so he's gonna be, I'm sure, picking up health from like as many of these robot masters as possible, so he doesn't suffer the same fate we saw Shoka run into. Shoka having trouble with the zip. This is not good.
Yeah, this is the lead becomes greater. Which of note, Shoka did the Shoka dance for you guys. So, give him some love there in the chat. It's all for you guys.
All right, so Endy goes ahead and collects the health from Quick there.
And since we know he's stream watching, we can expect that, right? Just to keep your health as full as possible and make sure you don't die.
Yeah, Endy's a good game manager, I would say. So I think he will make the correct decisions here. So Shoka has a great Boo Beam fight. So he's going into Wily 5 with both crash bombs. Endy has 1. But the lead is pretty large here. So Endy just needs to, keep things as safe as possible here.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough now. Yeah, so this is where Heatman was where Shoka died last game, yeah. But Endy is not having.
He died to wood.
Wood, there you go, wood.
And all right, Endy gets Bubbles health. So at this point, I mean, he has plenty of health. I think he'd probably feel pretty safe against Machine with this amount, but we'll see, because there's no reason really not to pick up Flashman's health here as well with the lead he has.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't. But it should be okay.
Tempting fate by not taking that health.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault him for that, because like he should be fine here. He does take a hit there, so as long as his mashing here is on point, that was okay. He can actually even take one more hit here, and doesn't even need to. Mashes him down just fine. That's what Shoka was trying to do in the last race, and
yeah.
Endy shows, you know, how that was supposed to work.
It's a dud with a good reminder to Endy that the alien does love you, and he needs hugs sometimes as well. Don't be afraid to do so, to give us a little bit of a close race here. But no, that's just a joke. Endy has to... We'll take care of this alien.
Some people would argue you should walk the boss corridor here rather than zipping, just so you don't risk the overzip.
Mm-hmm.
But Endy says nuts to that.
Tempting fate again, is Endy's minute.
Yeah, just gonna wiggle his way in, and he manages. So that's good. The only thing that can stop him here is Alien now. Otherwise, he'll be moving on to the round of 8.
In semi-surprising fashion, I think it's safe to say. You know, how things were looking in Game 2, at least. But let's wait till it's over, of course, and just take care of this alien.
Okay, good round there. And Endy has done it. Incredible.
Yeah, I think nothing to say here, but that was a very improbable win with how Game 2 was looking. With less than 5 minutes left in the run, it looked like Shoka was going to walk with this thing, but anything can happen in Rockman 2 tournament. That's why we watch, guys. So it was a great match for sure.
Yeah, I'm extremely impressed with how Endy held together there and made the most of his circumstances. Just, you know, had big deficits in games 1 and 2 and just didn't let it deter him. He just continued to plug forward and got better in each match.
Yeah, so I think that's the main thing. As it went on, he got kind of more consistent. And Shoka started out amazingly consistent, and then Game 2 went off the rails a little bit. In Game 3, he had a lot of hiccups that could be from a part of, you know, things are going off the rails, so it's kind of tough to keep your composure there. But, yeah, Endy with the win. And Endy moves on to face Zoda in round 3. There's only 8 runners there. And Endy pulled off, of course, of note, is the first upset of round 2. The higher seed won every single match until this one. And Shoka was 6th seed, and Endy was 11th seed, and the 11th seed is moving on, my friends. So there you go.
Yeah, we got 1 through 7, or no, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 11 in the round of 8.
So wow, Endy, yeah, we are down for interview, but we got to get you in here. Endy, let's invite you. 1 second, guys. We're gonna get Endy in here for an interview.
Are you sending him an invite?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thanks.
Second. To Endy. 1 moment, guys. We're getting him in here for a hype interview. Sent him the note there. We have well played for both players. It's definitely probably the most exciting one I've seen. Just because from how things looked to how they ended up, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that. And you get to see a good mix of what can go wrong in this, you know, in this whole race. It's pretty cool.
Yo,
Endy.
So Endy, let us know. How are you feeling after that epic comeback? Improbable. I think it's safe to say improbable. How Game 2 is looking. How are you feeling, my friend?
Unbelievable. So Shoka and I yesterday, I mean, this part of the brackets is called the slacker brackets for good reason, because no one in the lower part of this bracket is actually practicing like anything almost. So Shoka and I on Twitter yesterday, we were like, we made a gentleman pact not to practice. And I actually, before we did that, I picked this time kind of strategy. He gave me some time options where he was available to race, and I knew he wasn't practicing as well. I mean, as much as we probably both would have liked. And so I picked the earliest possible time because I thought if I pick an early time,
okay.
yeah, I mean he will not be able to practice, and I will not practice either way. So I just had a hunch that I was gonna be able to mentally pull it together if I was able to win one game. You know, I just counted on him to make one mistake, and you know, when that thing happened in game 2 for him in the refights, I saw instantly he got tilted by that. So then I just, you know, tried to keep my cool after that. I'm always stream sniping, so I adjusted some strats accordingly when I knew I was like 20 seconds ahead. So I did lose. I mean, he did eat time. I mean, I saw him getting closer, but as long as he was getting, you know, dangerously close, I was gonna just play it somewhat safe. So that was my game plan.
Yeah, I would say the game plan worked perfectly. I want to say congratulations. That was really fun to watch, especially the end of game 2 there was extremely exciting. I guess my question for you is, you're facing Zoda next. I know Zoda would prefer that neither of you practice. What are your thoughts on that?
Unfortunately, Zoda is not like Shoka, I think. I mean, nothing bad against Shoka. He's a great player. He's awesome. But you know, I've seen some of his races in the past. I mean, he's been racing Prissy a bit and you a bit, I think. He's not been overly consistent when he's not been practicing. I think Zoda is a tougher beast in that regard, because Zoda has played this game, well, most of all, probably. I mean, he has a ton of attempts, so he doesn't need D-Rust. I mean, he doesn't need practice. So if I'm going to have a chance against Zoda, I think I will probably have to practice. I will not promise I will, but I mean, we'll see what happens. If I can play like I did last game, I mean, well, there was I lost a shit ton of time in Wily 4 because the Beam fight was horrible. And I also had to reclimb and go around in the beginning. So aside from that, that was a 27 run for sure. So I don't know. I might put on a little time. It can be fun. Anything can happen in this game.
Yeah, I got to know, in game 2, when obviously you knew you were pretty far behind. Did that put any kind of different mindset in? You said, okay, I'm just going to hang out. Well, no, who knows what's going to happen? Or did you? I mean, you were pretty significantly behind at the start of Wily for sure. So, did you think you had a chance there, or were you kind of just playing it out?
I think my Wily stages have been okay overall. I've been having mostly troubles, you know, with the SIP setups in the Robot Masters. So, you know, my Wily stages, I'm fairly confident in them for the most part, except for the refights. I'm really rusty there. But so I basically played my game mostly in game 2. I think I didn't go for the easier strats. I think I tried to, you know, not hold anything back at that point, because I knew even if I had a big mistake, I knew that I still had to play really good to catch up to him, because that time loss, was it in game 2? I had the oversip in wood, I think it was. So I mean, I was like, yeah, I was too far behind to, you know, to even count on him making a small mistake, you know, me being able to catch up. So I basically played my best at the end of game 2. And the end of game 2 was actually good overall as well, I think. There was not that big time losses overall. Most of my time losses have come from early games. So,
yeah, I think you played pretty strongly throughout. Mostly, you know, there were some big mistakes, but I think overall your play was pretty solid, especially for not having practiced.
I feel that too. There was those key mistakes I did that cost a lot of time. Other than that, I'm actually pretty happy with the performance. I also got better. I mean, the first game I was completely rusty. Then I felt like I ate myself into it. You know, the 2 first races were warm-ups. Then I could play good in the first.
Considering how strategic you are, like not only about like picking your match and what strats you go for, and like kind of feeling the flow of the race by you know, stream sniping or whatever, I got to ask you, you know, not picking up the 1-up and quick. What is the logic behind that, especially going for dog scrolls?
I didn't want to wait. I usually don't fail. My dog scroll setup is different from everyone else. I can basically, you know, I sit one tile lower than everyone else does. I don't know if you noticed, but I use
the right setup.
So the thing with that thing is that you can actually wiggle I usually do it safe, so you can see Mega Man in the wiggle. You can't, you don't get off screen like you do in the other, in the other weird, when you're one tile higher and you can't see Mega Man and you overstep and all that shit. So I mean, I usually don't fail that one, honestly. So I don't know. I didn't really have a logic behind that one. I just did not expect to fail it.
Sure, that's understandable.
So I'm sorry I couldn't give a better logical answer, since I am pretty strategic, but that that thing I overlooked kind of. I don't know.
Well, there you go. I think that's the best way to kind of end it. Great, congratulations again. Now you're going on, and yeah, good luck with that, because it's going to be tough as well. You're in the round of 8 now, so good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy, and want to thank you guys for commentating. I'm gonna rewatch the races because yeah, it should be fun to rewatch. And also thank you, Shoka, for the awesome races. I'm sorry about your refight death in game 2. Also, thanks to all the guys behind the scenes, and yeah, thank you for having me. And I will see you next time in the next race.
And the that. So yeah, no better way to end than that. Thanks guys for watching, and yeah, stay tuned to Speed Gaming for all your speed gaming needs. I'll leave it to Fasta. Last words. Go ahead.
I think Endy covered it pretty well. Just thanks to everybody involved. That was really great series to watch. So thanks to both runners and the production team and all that. And I can't wait for all the matches in the future. Been really good ones lately.
There you go. You guys have a good day wherever you are, or good night, and if that's the case. And yeah, see you next time on Speed Gaming.